Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, a review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one, I'm going to be covering the brand new Periphery album, Periphery IV Hell Stand. The review that I am currently recording, and the one that you're going to see in front of your face, is probably the biggest surprise of the entire year thus far for me. So Periphery, the Washington D.C. progressive metal band formed in 2005, one of the spearheading leaders of the djent movement, progressive metalcore gods, that type of thing, and a band that I don't really like. I am a huge progressive metalcore fan, I'm a huge djent fan, so it makes no sense why I would not really like them. Some of my favorite bands come out of it. Era, Born of Osiris, Vishharta, Veil of Maya, Invent Animate, Animals as Leaders, Chan, so many great djent bands that I really do like, and yet I don't like probably, arguably, the biggest if you're discounting Meshuggah. That's literally like saying, oh, I like thrash metal, but I hate Metallica, Megadeth, and Anthrax, or oh, I love groove metal, but, you know, Sepultura and Pantera, they suck, or I'm a punk rock fan, but I don't like Misfits or Bad Brains or Green Day. You can't really be that big of a fan if you don't really respect the leaders. And I fully respect Periphery. I really do enjoy some of Misha Manzoor's production. He produced my favorite deathcore album of all time, Veil of Maya's album Eclipse, and Periphery really is technically efficient. Of course, I can understand that by listening to them. I've always felt like Periphery was very melodramatic, too over the top. Some of their production was so flawless that it sapped the life. The drums could sound very programmed, the riffs could sound technical, but a little bit lifeless. I thought some of their lyrics were trying to be deep, but weren't really doing that. The typical metalcore singing really didn't hit me the right way either. And also, the band would push into links that I don't think were very justified by the content they packed into their tracks. And I'm gonna be real, I probably would not even have reviewed this because I was just assuming it would be another Periphery album until I heard the track Blood Eagle. I'm pretty sure that I did a track review of Blood Eagle. It is so crushing, it's amazing, it's blood pumping, it's blistering. The drums are technical, they feel very organic, they feel very real. The riffs are crunchy, but they remain this kind of mathematical precision. They have this mathematical precision to them, but they're still catchy, they're still very audible, they're not just chaotic for chaotic's sake, and the vocals are absolutely gut-wrenching. They are just like, ugh. The topic was interesting, and not only that, but the way that they approached this track with such rage and ferocity. It was one of the heaviest progressive metalcore and djent songs that I've heard in a while. This track basically said, who the hell cares about being melodic? You guys over there in your little progressive metalcore field can be melodic. We're literally just going to melt your face off. And boom, just like that, it reached kind of my most anticipated albums of 2019 list when I made my second one. And here we are with a review. What's it looking like? Ah, it's so good. Oh god. Oh, it's so good. God bless djent for blessing me with this album. I'm an Era fanboy, they're my favorite band, but I would low-key say that this is better than their last album, Neon. This is one of the best djent albums that I have heard in a very long time. Reptile opens up the track listing. You want to know what's interesting about Reptile? It's almost 17 minutes long, and in my opinion, it's easily the best track on the album. Yes, this is what I wanted from Periphery. Where do you start with a 17-minute track? It is insanely technical. The riffs are bouncing around in such a chaotic fashion, but it is a little organized. It has a method to the madness. And anyone that's familiar with some very chaotic, noisy, heavy metalcore bands such as Converge, such as the Dillinger Escape Plan, is going to get that very mathcore type of feel from these guitar riffs. The drums are punchy, they're in your face, they are pummeling, they're driving. The vocals are all over the place and ranges from these black metal-esque shrieks to these death metal-esque growls to these cleaner passages where he's going up in his range, also these quieter passages, some whispered passages. The production is layered, the production is very crushing, it is very pummeling, and it's all weaved together in this amazing topic. Now, Periphery obviously isn't the first band to come at topics like this. Topics such as how poor people live, how they're starving people, questioning faith. I'm not 100% sure if the lead singer is Christian or not, but there are a lot of struggles of faith on this album, heaven versus hell, and trying to be good and trying to make a change and asking these questions of how a God could do this. And it really does feel like a classic thing that a lot of Christians go through, which is like this struggle of faith and questioning yourself. And in my opinion, you're not really a Christian if you don't do that, if you don't have those moments where you really say, is it worth it? But that's the type of thing that makes it stronger in the end. I mean, I'm not personally bringing my religion into this as a Christian, but listening to these lyrics, it does seem like there are a lot of questions with apathy for religion and a love for religion and trying to find a balance and just this heaven versus hell dynamic. And all these questions are weaved together with such rage, ferocity, but also passages that are very melodic. And the topics throughout this whole album, I'm not going to go through every single one, but the lyrics are not only poetic at times, but they can also take on a very blunt, brutish type of feel where they're very in your face and they're just asking these questions and they're saying these sentences and these statements that are just right in your face. And I love the theme of this album, honestly. The topics by themselves would not be anything over the top. They would be good lyrics, but paired with this amazing instrumentation that's melodic and heavy, and these vocals that are filled with so much emotion, I don't think they feel as one-dimensional as previous Periphery albums. I think that the vocalist really does keep up this ferocity when he's going hard, and this beauty when he's going soft, and you really feel a lot of the words that he is singing about, or screaming about, or growling about, or anything in between. Near the midsection, when Reptile kind of gives way, these guitar chords sound like a piano. They're so beautiful, they're so gorgeous, they're played to such a well effect. And honestly, I can't really spend this whole review talking about Reptile because it's over an hour of material. So Blood Eagle is the next track. I love Blood Eagle, one of my favorite tracks, a standout as well. I love the drums on this track. The drums on this whole album are super crushing. I love hearing nice drums in progressive metalcore, or just metal in general, that feels organic enough to feel real, but technical enough to feel a bit robotic, if that makes sense. This track is balls to the wall from start to finish. There's not any melodic bits. The guitars are spazzing out and freaking out, having a mathematical technical meltdown while the vocals are just roaring over. I wish the vocals maybe were a little bit quieter in the mix on this track. They do feel a little bit loud, but other than that, it's a really nice track. Garden in the Bones reminds me a little bit of something that would have been on Error's album Drift, with these very melodic, atmospheric, reverbed out, melodic chords coming from the guitar and then going straight into just these bustling parts where it's all this mathematical tapestry that is just embroidered with such ferocity and visceralness and punching drums and amazing deep growly vocals, but the melodic bits contrast very nicely. I mean, on the surface, if you've heard a lot of djent and progressive metalcore albums, this may seem a little bit stark to you, and that's perfectly okay, but for me at least, all of these contrasting factors are coming together to make this an extremely emphasize that, extremely enjoyable album. It's Only Smiles is such a good track, so heartwarming. I'm smiling just thinking about it. Spencer delivers an amazing vocal performance. The guitars kind of tone down the chaoticness on this track. They're still technical, but they're not super technical. The drums are nice. They're a little bit toned back, a little bit softer. Electronics open up the track surprisingly, and the pianos and this ambient bit that plays alongside the instrumentation with this beautiful vocal performance, it all comes together so well to make it not feel like each instrumental is a side dish, like the drums are just there and the guitars are just there. It feels almost like some orchestral, like, movie soundtrack almost. Or like a play where everything is right where it needs to be in its confinements and everything's given its best performance. Crush. Who else could make a track like this but Periphery? The electronics that open up this track remind me kind of this thudding, reminds me like something out of the Vangelis playbook, and this sounds like a lot of influences, and I'm not sure if it was meant to be, but it almost kind of sounds a little bit between the Buried in Me inspired, but with this Periphery weirdness to it, where his vocals are just in the midpoint, just kind of floating over this instrumental that is super atmospheric and just deep purple and murky. But yeah, Crush almost gives me kind of a Bullet for My Valentine vibe, a Between the Buried in Me vibe, but at the same time this creepy weirdness that Periphery brings to the table. You know what I'm talking about if you listen to Periphery. It's gonna be so apparent that this is like a cut and dry Periphery track with enough pizzazz to make it really stand out. I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers of this album, and I don't want to influence too many opinions, but this is one of the best albums I've heard this year, and it really changed my opinion of Periphery. The riffage is super technical, the drums are super punchy, yet maintain an organic feel to them. The vocals are crushing, they're melodic, they're nice, the lyrical topics are interesting, they approach them with the nice finesse and poeticism. I love the heck out of this album. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And that's a wrap. Please stay for the end screen. I'll link some videos you might be interested in. Have you heard this album? And if you have, what did you think of it? If you liked it, you can let me know. And if you hated it, you can let me know and why and all that good stuff. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. It helps me out a lot. And smash that notification button to be notified of my future uploads. I'll talk to you guys next time. But until then, my name is J Morris, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.